So when we move to a whole food plant-based diet, it's really helpful if we can still enjoy familiar recipes. So what we're going to do is make up a basic tomato sauce, which we can use as a pasta sauce. We can use it to line a pizza base and then put any toppings on. Or we can use it as the base to make fajitas, Bolognaise and a chili. In each version, I'm going to use a different type of meat replacement just to show you how we can still be really healthful. It can still taste exactly as it does to in a meat eating diet. But what we're doing is we're reducing our meat intake and we're eating an abundance of plants and vegetables. So we're getting healthful foods and all the benefits of not eating meat. So we'll start off with a basic of onion, carrot and celery. And then for the tomato sauce, I'm going to add all the 3 peppers and 3 tins of tomatoes and some tomato puree. Because we're going to serve this with pasta, a chili and a fajita, I'm going to pop some pasta on. I've prepared some rice and we've got some wraps for the fajitas. So first of all, get your water on to boil for your pasta and get your stove ready to put your mirepoix in. We don't need to use any oil to start this off, so we'll just sharpen our knife. I use different knives. I like this one and I like this shaped knife. This is good for chopping down. This one's quite neat. I take the ends off the onion, slice in half and remove the papery skin. And I have said it before, but sometimes if there's a thick layer, then take that off as well because it just makes it difficult to chop. There's a number of ways you can chop an onion. So you keep your hands on the onion and away from the knife. You can slice towards you in small sections and then down, while you're still keeping the root of the onion intact, and then slice it out into cubes. When you get to this bit, you have to start again. Okay, so there you've got your nice cubed onion. I quite like doing it this way, where I just hold either end, slice through in big chunks, and then take it to the side this way. Turn it over once it feels unbalanced and then pop the onion into the pan. You can wear goggles when you're doing this. So we'll do a second onion. Because we're doing 3 basic dishes, this is like a big batch cook, so you could prepare this sauce at the beginning of the week. I obviously like cooking, but if you don't like cooking, this is one for you. So you've got your basic tomato sauce, you've got a pasta sauce out of it, you've got the equipment ready for a pizza base. You can either buy a dough or just prepare a dough very simply. And you've got a Bolognaise, a chili and a fajita mix. You can make a curry with this base. You just add a different curry sauce or curry spices. So it's very versatile and it's freezable, and it just means you've always got really good food ready for you, or certainly the basics of a very good meal. Excuse me, I'm gonna cry. Red blow with this. Ah! Gosh, these seem spicier. Ah! I'm going to keep hold of 1/2 of the onion for the salsa for later. So let's just trim the ends. This is a white onion. Doesn't contain as many antioxidants as the red, but it's still a vegetable, still a means green vegetable. These have a much tougher skin. So reserve that half over by your fajita mix and put another half into the basic tomato sauce. Let's just make sure our heater is on. Let's add a bit of water to that. So no oil required, just some water. And then we've got some celery to go in. If you don't like any of these ingredients, you can use other things. I mean, you could add a bit of leek if you wanted. Chop it quite finely. So with celery, you just want to go down the big strips first. And, you know, if you're explaining to people that you're changing your diet and they're interested as to what you eat, this is a really good starting point for, you know, for discussion. Because curry, Bolognaise, all foods from different cultures are very popular in the UK, and these are easy ways to just have familiar food, but all the while incorporating lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. So the celery goes in. And then some carrots. Got some nice purple and orange carrots. Funny, my nose is dripping because of the onions. But my eyes will stop smarted. I love purple carrots, so that's what they look like inside. Pile things up like this, and then it makes it just a little bit easier to chop down. Again, as with when you're preparing soups, this is the basis for a soup. Have things similar size so that they all cook at the similar time. And fingers away, pop those in. So that's just going to give the base of your sauce, the base of your flavours. Now let's get some garlic in there, because garlic is a lovely flavour and full of health benefits. So I'll pop a lid on the pan. So it'll just heat it up quicker. And there's one there already. I'm just going to chop all this garlic up, so I'll show you one. I use the big knife, take the tough end off, push down, gently remove the skin. If you didn't want to do it that way, you can just take the ends off and peel. It just depends on the garlic. Some of them are tougher than others. I've never found a garlic press that works, so I always chop it myself. If you've got a food processor, you could prepare all this in the food processor and it would take a fraction of the time. But remember, this is going to cook for a while, so it doesn't have to be, you know, perfectly ground. Right, so the water's boiling for the pasta, so we're going to get some pasta in there now. I used whole wheat pasta, and the availability of this is very variable. You know, so health shops often sell it, but occasionally, well, if you use a big supermarket, not necessarily find it in there. Again, it's worth asking the store manager why not, if it's not there. But pop your pasta into a big pan of boiling water. No salt required. The salt is used to lower the temperature of the water, but some of it will absorb in the food. And lots of food we eat has added salt. This is the good thing about controlling your salt intake when you've got your when you're cooking for yourself. So when you're cooking from scratch, you're controlling everything. So you're controlling what goes into your food, as opposed to if somebody's prepared it for you, or if you're buying ultra-processed food that's already pre-made, pre-packeted. The things that make them attractive are the salt, fat, and the sugar. And that's why. But you know, we're living in an age of convenience. And actually, it's not working for us, is it? So if we continue to abuse the planet the way we are, we're not going to reach our carbon net zero targets. So we need drastic change, and drastic change is a more healthful change. So it's just win, win, win. So use the flat of your knife, push down on your garlic. As I say, you don't need to know it's going to simmer for ages, so it doesn't need to be too fine, too crushed. But if you wanted to, you can crush that a little bit further. Just to it makes it into a smooth paste. So there we go. That's our basis: peppers, carrots, celery, onion, garlic. That needs to boil up, simmer down, while we prepare the peppers. Take a pepper, slice, take the center seeds out because they can be quite bitter. And then we're just going to chop these like this. I'm going to do this quite fine, quite small. We're going to use the sauce with the fajita mix and add extra longer peppers, so don't be concerned about the authenticity of the way it looks. So there's the peppers prepared. I used 2 red and a green. Lots of health benefits with all these ingredients, and as you're cooking, feel free to, you know, eat them raw as you go. Absolutely fine. Your basic mix is coming together. That's starting to simmer down. So I'm going to add the peppers in there now. We've still got plenty of water, but if yours is looking a bit dry, just add a bit more water, okay? So you've got your carrot, celery, onion, garlic, and peppers. Just let that come all together. Let's look at the basis stock. So the basic sauce, so we've got all our vegetables coming together. So let's add 3 tins of tomatoes. I've cut my finger. So we've put a tin of tomatoes in. Now these are plum tomatoes, so they will simmer down, but they're less processed than just chopped tomatoes. So literally you can put them in your pan and then just chop them yourself. So I tend to buy plum tomatoes because they're cheaper and they're also less processed. So what you're hoping for is just to get as many of the health benefits of all these foods as possible incorporated into your meal. Tomatoes really vary in terms of quality. Just find what suits you, what suits your budget. We tend to put tomato paste in all of these sauces, so I don't think it really matters that much. I tend to buy them in bulk because I use a lot. So we've got 3 tins of tomatoes into that lovely sauce. And we're going to bring that back up to the boil. Add about half a tube of tomato puree. 1, 2 big tablespoonfuls, which is about half a tube. And give it a stir around. And that is the basis of your sauce. So, some black pepper, and we're not going to add much else to the flavours because each of those individual dishes are going to have their own particular flavour. So we're going to let that simmer down and then we'll come back to it and show you how we make the base of all these different flavours. Probably going to take about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Give it a taste just to check on your seasoning. It's gorgeous, it's actually ready now, you could eat that now. So, that's delicious. You've noticed I haven't added any extra salt. And it still tastes really delicious. We haven't put any stock cubes in it, it's just all the flavours of the delicious vegetables and the tomatoes. So that's our perfect base ready. So I am going to let that simmer up for a little bit and just tidy away.